In a dystopian metropolis, years after a brutal war, the streets crawl with all kinds of debauchery. Influencers grifting the next shitcoin,
that does whatever he wants.
clueless enforcers,
Don't talk, listen!
Seriously.
and the
It's sitting
same
on my
corrupt
desk.
politicians we've all learned to ignore.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
No one is safe. But in the cracks, between Le Boo-Boos and Horse Girl Racing, there's a group long forgotten.
The suspect retreats.
Junkies. I'm of course talking about Katana Zero. Released in 2019, Katana Zero is a fast-paced 2D hack-and-slash platformer built around a one-hit kill mechanic. Everything dies instantly, including you. Combat emphasizes speed, precision, and quick reactions, featuring From Software's patented dodge roll, a sword that can deflect bullets, bullet time, and precognition. You don't just react, you plan, predict, and execute with deadly efficiency. Or, if you're like me, run through the whole map enough times that pattern recognition will plan for you, and muscle memory will do the heavy lifting. Upon starting the game, we get a cryptic dialogue about some men in masks. And we start from the beginning. Now, you'll notice a countdown. 10 days remain. Don't think much about it, pick up the phone, and have fun with the game's dialogue system. Our mission is to save a scientist in captivity and leave no survivors. Clearly, our occupation seems to be a little violent. However, I'm sure we're doing this for a good cause. Another job well done. Some blue-haired Russian kills our client, sends in his goons, and tells them to mind the lasers. At the end of every level, you get a post-mission debriefing. These messages consist of positive words about how much of a good boy you were today. Ignore these and go home to rest. I present to you the ultimate male living space. Dirty clothing everywhere, couch with an old TV, hot anime girls, weights, old pizza boxes, and cans of beer are placed very carefully. You can turn on the TV to hear news reporters talk about your work that day. In this game, sleeping isn't an option until you drink your herbal tea. This made me think. Is our protagonist a Japanese salaryman who quit his job at Family Mart? Or is he a white boy who grew up in the projects and is so infatuated with Japanese culture that he cannot sleep without his matcha green tea? These questions will never be answered. So, it turns out we have nightmares. We're going to ignore this and get our next assignment. However, something feels a little off here. Do I have a psychiatrist? You're going to quickly realize that the psychiatrist is also our handler. He will inform you about how our employers think of our previous assignments, gives us feedback, and will ask you about your current mental well-being. This is going to be the main structure of every mission. Wake up, scream, therapy, and repeat. As you leave your therapy session, you get assignment information on a dossier. Burn it and get to work. Each level gets progressively harder with a unique soundtrack, which, if you haven't noticed already, they're all bangers. And to be honest, I never liked this genre of music before. But as I was on my path of restoring both mind and body, I realized the real therapy was within me all along. This game is deceptively hard. You have to be on edge all the time, or enemies will respond accordingly. You either burn out your zoomy receptors, or revel in your ADD. Yes, you have a ability that lets you slow down the perception of time, but it won't save you. Only the needle will. As you keep playing, you're going to connect the dots and notice that there is a narrative, a story even. At first glance, Katana 0 is nothing but a massive amphetamine binge with high BPM music, where the world is your canvas, your sword is your brush, and the people are nothing but bottles of ink, which you crack open to paint your canvas. I say this because in reality, I would suggest that Katana 0 is a form of art. There is a strong emphasis on drug use and mental health, including wholesome topics such as war, corporatization, and military R&D. I'm quickly going to talk about the dialogue system, one which I found to be really good. It's not much, but you can choose what kind of a person you are. Dialogue options include being friendly to the little girl, be honest with your psychiatrist, follow orders without question, rot the brain of the receptionist by staring at her blankly. Tell her you're cosplaying as Pikachu, and then lobotomize yourself. This will shake her to the core. Unable to understand your words, her speech will come out fragmented, disjointed, and will let you through without checking valid identification. In fact, she will even vouch for you when leaving the hotel. You could make good decisions, or give your sword to the Russian thug who picked you up from his limo, after sending you an Instagram reel where you see your loud neighbors being tortured by the same Russian thug who is sitting across from you. Or tell the scientist that You are, in fact, not the pizza guy. The game will give you lighthearted stuff like this, and then, suddenly,
Kill. He stole from you. Take it.
the choice is yours. Personally, I like being a dickhead to the psychiatrist. That's because I don't trust a single word that comes out of his filthy, two-faced, pretentious demeanor. It's hard for me to talk about this game without mentioning the story. It's so well knit that the cutscenes and dialogue are never boring, and the transition to gameplay is damn near perfect. Even the game mechanics are actually integral to the story. There is not a single wasted moment while playing this game. This is the point of the video where I realize I don't have a proper ending. I don't want to spoil anything, as I believe this will ruin your experience. There are some hidden secrets, missed interactions, and new swords you can unlock to have some variety and replayability. Honestly, I thought this would be a one and done game, but because this game takes 3 hours to complete, I find myself coming back to it every once in a while. It's a short but sweet experience. In conclusion, I give Katana 0 a out of. The DLC is still coming soon. Please, Justin. I'll do anything. I just want to see more of this game. Anyways, thank you for watching. Here are some clips from my favorite levels. Enjoy.